Had an 8-hour layover. We got back on a train and we had a, what's it called, the Pullman sleeper. Had a place to lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah.
We left Chicago in late in the evening, and we rode that train all night, all day the next day. I think it was 2 nights. I thought 2 nights and 2 days. I think it was, a day and 2 nights before we got to Pittsburgh, California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Was that on the way to Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Graduated out of basic training in Camp Pickett, Virginia. I caught a train to Portsmouth. Got off the train, had stayed here 17 days. And got back on the train here and went to Chicago and got off the train in Chicago and had an 8-hour layover. And we went on to Pittsburgh, California. That's where the ticket called for. And we got off the train there and went in. Well, I forget now the name of that camp we was at there in California. And when we left there, they put us on a ferry boat. Went out through underneath the Golden Gate Bridge and went into the land. After we got underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, pulled back into the land again, got off that ferry boat, went up a set of steps to a building. They gave us a cup of coffee and a cookie, Red Cross did, and went right on out and got on a ship. And I think I was 13 days of going over and 11 coming back. You see, 11 coming back and 13 going over one way or the other. I forget now how it was. But there was a bunch of people on that ship. Went over on the USS Gordon and come back on the Marine Serpent.
Huh. Did you tell us one time that they put you on another ship when you got there?
Put us, we went to Japan. What was the name of that? I forgot the name of that camp. Went to Japan and got off of it, and they processed us there for 2 or 3 days and got back on the same ship and went on to Incheon, Korea. And then we got off that ship. We went up to the front and then they come back and put us on a boat and took us to an island, Chijo and Kojido Island, and we guarded prisoners. And then we went back to North Korea again, or back to South Korea, up to Busan. And when I come back down to Busan, Korea, and we come from Busan, Korea to Seattle, Washington. Yeah. I never have even rode as much as a Greyhound bus till I went in service. I never had to go to. The only place I've ever been was Portsmouth in a car. First bus ride from Portsmouth to Ashland. First train ride from Ashland, Fort Meade, Maryland.
Huh. And what year was that? Do you remember?
Went in 1st of May of 52. 1st of May of 52. Come out the 1st of February of 54. Yeah. We got relieved, and we come off the hill. And they threw a party for us. That's the first time I ever got drunk. And I went to chow next morning. It was on a Sunday morning, and met some of the boys on my outfit. Said, "Agnes, you got anything missing?" I said, "No, I ain't got nothing missing." "Why?"
A lot of them got their billfolds gone, their shoes, clothes gone, and everything. I went back down and checked mine. I had one pair of boots missing. When I took my pants off tonight, I left billfolds in my pants pocket, and I rolled them up and I used my pants as a pillow. I slept right on my billfold. And I thought saved me from getting robbed too. And I had a pair of boots sitting there that I wasn't wearing, and they got that pair of new boots. And then...
They know who did it? They ever find out who did it?
Yeah, you had South Korean policemen over there. And you had rock soldiers stationed. We had 2 rock soldiers in my platoon.
What's a rock soldier?
South Korean soldier.
Okay.
And he was drafted into service, and he was attached to my platoon. Mike, one of them called Mike, the other one called Kim. And a KFC is a South Korean. KFC is a South Korean civilian.
Okay.
Well, these South Korean policemen, they know the checkpoints where everything at. They knew everybody was coming off the line, where the party is all being thrown at, where you'd be drunk at. They knew all that. And come to find out, they was bringing these KFCs to the checkpoints up to where we was at, and they would rob us. And then I don't know how they got back with the police, but then that's the way they caught them. They said one of them, there'd be 3 of them, but one of them standing over you with your knife at your throat. You made a wake up, and they'd cut your throat. And that's the way they caught them.
If you're there to help them, you're there to help them, and they're robbing.
Yeah.
So what they do to them?
I don't know.
Take them off base?
I don't know.
So were you on Old Baldy?
I could see Old Baldy from where I was at.
Yeah.
Pork Chop Hill. You ever read about it? Pork Chop. And the outpost I was on was the alligator jaws. Baby Snooks, he called it. And our outfit pulled on that a lot. Bomb that hillside with must actually shot with shells. It was plowed up so deep you couldn't dig your trench through it. It's a deep foot. Everything blew off of it. Yeah. And then when the truce was signed, I think the truce was signed about the last July, wasn't it? You remember when the Friends truce was signed?
I don't remember.
Feel like maybe the last July. And they sent my outfit to Panlin John, Seoul, Freedom Village, guard the railroad track during prisoners exchange. Their prisoners, prisoners that we had of theirs, put them on a train and sent them to Freedom Village. And when they go by, they take their clothes all off. When they got to Freedom Village, they're stripped off naked. Everything threw out the windows. Yeah. And when our boys got released, when a load of our prisoners got released, they put them on planes and flew them out there. It's just starved to death. Big fat man be a skinny man when they got back. Yeah.
So you went in 52 in September, went through basic, went over there, and then came back in September 53?
Yeah.
Now, isn't it Korea?
Huh?
Wasn't it in Korea where they flew they flew, one of the cities was getting ready to fall, and they flew the orphans out? Was that Korea that they did that?
I don't know.
And brought them to the States?
I had a little boy, and when I first got there, I took my shoes off. I got on the top bunk to sleep. Next morning, I had shoes that shined, you wouldn't know. And I said, boy, whoever shined them boots knows what they're doing. He said, our houseboy done that. We called him Jimmy John. And one of the soldiers took a liking to that kid. He stayed right there in the barracks where we stayed. Could have liked that kid and sent back here and got a little genealogy outfit for him.
Yeah.
Oh, he was king of the walk. And he stayed right with our company. He stayed right with our company.
So his name was Jimmy John?
Huh?
His name was Jimmy John, or the house?
Jimmy John, they called him.
Oh, okay.
Called him Jimmy John. Had a blue cowboy outfit, genealogy cowboy outfit. He really thought that was something.
And when we was in service, you know how to read a compass? You know, I never did learn how to read it. They give you a compass. Put a platoon, put 4 or 5 guys together. And you're supposed to go from here to here, be a man that's standing in this checkpoint, be a man over this checkpoint, be a man over here. And you had to go to each one of them checkpoints and have him sign his name that you was to every one of them. And see who got back to the place where it began. Yes, sir.
How fast you
And these places, when you got out in there, you wade into a swamp up to your knees. Can't pick it, Virginia. Give you a compass, you carry it in your hand.
follow
I
the
never did
needle.
learn how to read. I just always hoped I get with somebody that knows how to read that thing. When I went overseas, I got on a train here in Portsmouth. We went to Chicago. We got to Chicago. We had an 8-hour layover. Had to change depots. They had a long thing like a limousine. I don't know. They put 7 or 8 of us in that thing with all of our duffel bags. They took us from one train depot to the other one. We had to wait 8 hours to catch the train. We walked. I didn't know what jaywalking was. You know what jaywalking is?
Yeah.
I didn't know what jaywalking was. That old boy from New York, from Brooklyn, New York, Ralph Purcell was his name. And we got with him, we all got on that train. But when we was in Chicago, though, we had 8 hours to kill. We went down through town, and he just, policeman blowing the whistle at us. Those guys jaywalk. We just crossed the street anywhere you wanted to. They said you're supposed to go to this corner, just cross the red light. And down along the shore of Lake Michigan there, I think there's 6 lanes of traffic going one way and 6 lanes the other way. And I went on overseas and come back. We landed in Washington, state of Washington, Seattle, Washington. And got off that boat that morning about daylight. Actually, I don't ever forget how many people there was on that boat, but they had a tugboat with girls on the hula hoop skirts, and they come out there balls of confetti, and they threw that up there to us, and we caught them. We hold on to one end, drop it back over. They decorated that thing up like you was going to a wedding, like you decorate a car and you're on the wedding.
Huh.
They decorated that whole ship. They had enough buses lined up there on the shore. I think it's a couple thousand of us. They had enough buses lined up there on the shore. When we got down off that boat, we went over there and got on the bus. Seattle's kind of built on a sloping hill, and pulled up there and stopped the red light. There's a whiskey store there, and them guys are buying whiskey out there and handing them to anybody to grab it. Some of them getting pretty well drunk by the time they got up to the barracks or the campgrounds where we were going. I was wondering we all wondered if we'd make it home by the weekend. That was on Thursday morning. We'd all wondered if we'd make it home by the Saturday or Sunday. That was on Thursday morning. That evening about dark, put us on a plane. I forget how many's on a plane. And we flew to Wake City, Montana. Stopped there and de-iced the plane. They had the plane getting ice on it. It was in September, I believe it was. September, it was in October. Come back in October. Went over in October and come back in October. I believe that's what it was. But anyhow, they had to stop de-ice the plane, refuel, and we had a box lunch on there for us. The pilot said, "You guys want to eat the box lunch? You want to wait till we get to Omaha, Nebraska, and eat a hot meal?" And everybody said the hot meal, Omaha, Nebraska. And we stopped in Omaha, Nebraska. Went in there and they had our plates already meal already in the plate. All you had to do is go in there and sit down.
Huh.
And everybody ate the same thing. And to come out there, the sun was coming up. Well, after I got pictures down home of it somewhere. I did have. Took some pictures down home with me. And left Omaha, Nebraska, and come to Camp Atterbury, Indiana. Camp Atterbury, Indiana. Come home for 30 days. And while I was home, I bought me a new Chevrolet Impala, 53 model Chevrolet Impala. Well, Paul and Buster Martin took me back to Camp Atterbury when my 30 days was up. Because I didn't know what I'd have to do about keeping the car on base. And they took me down and left me out, and they'd bring the car back. Hunting season's in here, and Dad and them took it and went up north for hunting. They come back, they had mud in that brand new automobile.
Oh.
His dad was ashamed.
Oh.
And he told me apologized about getting mud over it, and they took it hunting.
Huh.
So at Christmas time, I got a 10-day furlough, 10-day leave, and I come home and got that car, and I bypassed Chicago because I didn't want no part of driving through that.
Yeah.
I went back to Fort Riley, Kansas.
Huh.
I was out there from I'd say I got out there about sometime in November. And I stayed there November, December, January, and got out of service 1st of February.
And that was all after you came back from the war?
3 months knocked off my time. I was supposed to stay in 2 years. I got 3 months knocked off my time by being overseas in action.
Huh.
And anyhow, I got ahead of myself. We was wondering why we would make it home. By the weekend, we processed this there in
Atterbury?
Camp Atterbury, Indiana. Anybody going to New York? I said, how about going to Ohio? He said, get a load. And there's 2 guys wanting to come to Cincinnati. I was wanting to come to Portsmouth, and there's a boy, what was his name, lived down in Manchester. Benning, I believe is his name. Anyhow, there's 4 of us. He charged me $15 to bring me to Portsmouth. The boy from Manchester, $15, and got $10 out of 2 dropped off in Cincinnati. And when we come up there, just coming out of Cincinnati on 52, there's a sailor boy went around us, had West Virginia tags on, coming up 52. He said, I bet he's going right up where you guys want to go. And he flagged him down. He run around him, flagged him down. He asked him about giving this a ride up to Portsmouth. He said, yeah. He turned around at Cincinnati and went back to Indiana. He paid $50 there. In what wasn't much for an hour.
Yeah.
He ain't very far from Indiana to Camp Atterbury, Indiana to Cincinnati.
And what year was that? What year was that?
I went over in 52 and come back in 53. Got out the first day of February 54. Yeah. My first Greyhound bus ride was from Portsmouth, Ashland, Kentucky. First train ride was from Ashland, Fort Meade, Maryland. And then we took a train back over to Camp Pickett, Virginia. Took basic training in Camp Pickett, Virginia. And when I got out of basic training, caught a bus to Portsmouth, had 17 days later out here home. Then got back on the train, went on to California. Got on a ferry boat, went out through underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. Got on that ship. There were 3,000 of us. 3,000 soldiers, and I forget how many crew members there was on it. And they took us to Japan. Camp Stone, Japan. What's the name of that place? Took us to a camp in Japan. And when we went into the harbor, you could look off to your left, see Mount Fuji, snow on top of it. Yeah. Processors there in Japan put us back on the same boat and took us on to Incheon, Korea.
How long were you there in Korea?
How
long were you in Korea?
About a year.
Yeah.
If you're online, you got so many points for being online. You got so many points for being breaking and blocking position. And anyhow, you had to have 36 points. So 9 months. I was there about a year, but from the time I left here to I got back, I was gone just about a year. I'd say I had 10 months in Korea, online.
So, were you drafted in? Were you drafted in?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were your brothers drafted in also? Just you, or did any of your brothers get drafted in at the same time?
All of us was drafted in.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oldest brother got killed in World War II.
Okay.
You know that? Oldest brother got killed in World War II. Paul went in 51, got out in 53. I went in 52, got out in 54. Dad died in 59. Dad died in 59. Benny was in Germany when Dad died. Bob was still going to school. And when Bob got out of school, they took Bob, and Bob went to Korea. They come back, and got a lot on the student zone out there.
Yeah.
You ever see that student zone?
Yeah, it's really nice.
And Scott, there's Me and Paul and Bob and Benny. Me, Paul and Bob and Benny. And Scott and Dad. And Junior. There's 5 of us boys, and Dad made 6, and Scott makes 7. Scott was the only grandchild that was ever in service.
So you did basic training at Camp Pickett, Virginia. How long was that?
I went in the 1st of May of '52. They sent me to Fort Meade, Maryland, processed me there. I'd say the middle of May I was at Camp Pickett and started basic training and finished up in September. And left Camp Pickett first part of September and come home here, stayed here 17 days and got back on the train last part of September and went on and started my route out west.
Mm-hmm. How did they pick assignments for everybody?
Huh?
How did everybody pick their assignments?
How did everybody you what?
How did they pick their assignment, their job?
I don't know how they picked me. They picked me for medic.
Yeah.
How they picked me for medic. I received the Bronze Star while I was in there.
Yeah. What's it take to get the Bronze Star?
Huh?
What does the Bronze Star mean? What's that take?
Well, for heroic action. And they promoted you just like working at the public works. But after I've been there so long, I drove a little Jeep first. Then when I got to be the senior driver, the guy that drove the 3/4 ton truck, he went somewhere else, went home, I reckon, and then put me on the 3/4 ton truck, driving it, hauling supplies from regiment from division up to regiment, or from battalion to regiment, regiment to battalion.
Okay.
And I had 3 little Jeep drivers under me that I was in charge of.
And what's a litter Jeep?
A Jeep, just
Yeah.
a Jeep,
Okay.
with the top off of it.
Yeah.
They had two litters to sit on it,
No.
and a man in the front of it, a man beside of it. And when you got to take a shower, change clothes, you went down to the shower point, turn your old clothes in, take a shower, and put clean clothes back on. Well, with all of them wanted to go to the shower. The 3 little Jeep drivers wanted to go, and I let them all 3 of them go at one time. Well, after they got going to the shower, why, they put some artillery in on the headquarters company, and they called for a little Jeep to come to headquarters company. I had to go. I was the only one there. Drive a little Jeep. So I jumped in the little Jeep, and up the road I went. Dust is flying, and you had where the road at, and they could see from over on their hill. They could see that road. They had curtains up, couldn't see any. And I went up that road, and the artillery rounds are coming in and hitting in the middle of the road. I went to headquarters company and pulled into headquarters company. They put 1 wounded man on the trailer, on a stretcher behind one of us, and 1 dead on the other side, and I had 1 wounded sitting beside of me. And now there we went back down the road, and we got down at the aid station. We got them on the inside of the aid station, and was working on them. In come that company commander and the mess sergeant. happened in the mess hall, right where they had the mess hall line set up. Here they come. They want to know who the driver was. Come up there. I thought, oh shit. Said, "You want to know why?" I said, "Why do you want to know that?" We're going to recommend him to the Bronx Star. I said, "Don't know whether he'll give it or not." And they recommended it, and I got it. General Trudeau pinned the medal on me over there in Korea. And when I come home, didn't give me no paperwork or nothing with it. I went and got back out there at Fort Raleigh, Kansas. One day the Coon Sergeant said, "General so-and-so, or Major so-and-so, Colonel so-and-so wants to see you up in his office." I thought, oh my God, what have I done now? I went up and went in there. He shook my hand, congratulated me, and gave me my papers on the Bronx Star. Yep. He said, and then the major went ahead and, major or colonel, whatever he was, went ahead and done that. And the next day, that master sergeant over my platoon, he said, so-and-so said he didn't do that like I wanted to do it. So and him coordinated that Bronx Star thing. I said, I'm sure they had it down the way he done it. And going over on that boat, didn't have a thing to do. Seasickness, I never did get sick enough to vomit, but I always felt like I wanted to. I'd go upstairs on the deck, up on top of the deck, lay around up there till I got to feeling bad, and I'd go back down in my hole and lay down in the bunk. Just get it feeling better and sleep it off. And after you're down there so long, you want to go back upstairs. That's the way I went. Done. You're going over. I was 13 days. I believe it was. I was 13 days one way and 13.
You were on KP duty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did everybody take turns? Did everybody take turns?
Certain ones. Yeah, certain ones. That was KP duty coming back on that ship.
Yeah.
14 days, I think, or 10 days, I believe it was. I still did tell you when that boy gave us that ride to New Boston up to Portsmouth. I got there a little bit after dark on a Friday night. We got off on the boat on Thursday morning, got to New Boston Friday night. I walked in there at Thelma's, and she found me over here. Next morning, Dad took me over to Grandma Adkins. Man, you ever heard no such shouting in your life?
Yeah. I'm glad you're home safe.
Huh?
Glad you're home safe. Glad you were home safe.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. When I come back from Fort Riley, that car, Dad went out and looked at the car. He said, well, I've seen you clean the car up. That's all I had to do on the weekends, clean that car all week.
What did you do on base once you got back to Riley in Kansas?
Huh?
What did you do on base while you were there for a couple months in Kansas?
What did I do on a couple of months of what?
And when you were in Kansas?
Yeah.
What'd you do to keep busy there?
They made me an aide man with the companies that was taking basic training and sent me out there with a little, we had to go to motor pool, get a Jeep and a driver, and take me out there where they, in the field, had to stay out in the field when they was having basic training, and got out there. One day they were having, actually they lined a bunch of men up here, and they put machine guns here, shooting so many inches over top of their head, and you had to crawl what they call crawling the infiltration course. And they shoot them guns fast, it burns the barrel up. You burn the barrel up, and the gun won't shoot right. The ground, anyhow, it messes the barrel up on it. And they was having a company crawling out the infiltrating course. They hired for a medic. They shut the guns down. We went out there, and that boy said, "I think I'm hit." And he had a bullet that went in right above his, went in this way, missed the bone, but the bullet didn't hit the ground before it hit him. His bullet pretty near stopped. The bullet was stuck in here and was sticking out over here. And I cut his pants leg off and put what they had, I called it a Carlisle bandage to keep the dirt and stuff out of it. Put a bandage on him. That boy was driving that Jeep, and we had to come out on Route 40 and go up to Fort Riley Camp Hospital. And they had a $500,000 drive up in front of that hospital. And that flowers all over in here. He said, I was coming up that highway, he didn't know how to drive. Coming up that highway, he said, oh, I did want to do this. Man, he pointed on it. We got up at that hospital, and he turned off there in that hospital. He was right through them flowers. Oh, shit. And took him up in front of the hospital. And they go out and got him. And when I put that Carlisle bandage on there, they was all telling me all to pull that bull out of there. I didn't do it. And I asked him when I got him on the inside. I asked him. I said, "Did I do the right thing by leaving that bullet?" "Yes, sir." He said, "You done the right thing." He said, "You might have pulled that out and got blood started and even bled to death."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, you done the right thing. Yeah. That's the only time I had anything to happen like that down there. That old boy, I got a kick out of him driving that Jeep. He said, "Oh, he did want to come up Route 40. I don't know how far we had to go on. We must have went 4 or 5 miles up Route 40.